다음 중 한국의 전통 의상은 무엇일까요? 그렇다면 한국의 전통 의상 이름은 무엇일까요?
정답은 한복입니다. 안녕하세요. 방크 청년연구원 이정호입니다. 한국 드라마와 한국 영화가 한류 팬들에게 사랑받으면서 한국 전통 의상인 한복도 주목받고 있는데요. 한국 문화 콘텐츠가 지구촌 곳곳에서 인기를 누리면서 한국과 관련된 잘못된 정보도 확산되고 있습니다. 그중에는 한복에 관한 오류 정보도 있더라고요. 제가 여러분께 한복에 대해 제대로 알려드릴게요. 곡선과 직선이 조화롭게 이루어진 한복은 단아함과 우아함이 살아있는 한국 전통 의상입니다. 또한 1600년간 이어진 고유 한복은 세계에서 제일 길며 그것은 고구려 고분 벽화와 신라 백제 유물로도 확인이 됩니다. 한국인의 정체성과 역사가 담긴 한국의 소중한 문화유산이라 할 수 있죠. 한국 바로 알리기 여러분도 함께 해주세요.
An in-depth studio discussion on AI, bio, climate, defense, and economy, the 5 key industries driven by Korea. We also examine how the 5 future strategic industries are bringing innovations to workplaces and everyday life. Focus on K initiative at the heart of change. A journey to find real beauty items, beauty on and off. Exploring how beauty is perceived across cultures and generations and highlighting K-beauty culture from multiple angles. Idol group On and Off try the products themselves and come up with their own guidelines. The most honest beauty report you can trust. Beauty On and Off. Michelin star chef Fabrizio teams up with a traditional liquor sommelier to offer the most exquisite balance of tastes. Explore more than just recipes, but the rich layers of flavors, as well as the beautiful backdrops of breweries across the nation. Experience the Korean sentiments and the art of balance laid out on a table. Music for the ears as well as the eyes. Come closer to the riveting charm of K-pop. Experience the height of performance, style, and detail. an interactive music show calling out to K-pop fans around the world. Tune in to Simply K-pop, the trendiest choice for global fans.
Held its first debate over the weekend.
The economy is expected to expand 2.5% this year.
Boosting Korea's ties with its global partners on the sidelines of the Status UN summit.
A massive drone attack on Ukraine overnight on Monday and Tuesday.
아리랑
여러분 반갑습니다. I'm Kwon So-hwa and this is K-Culture Dive. Join us in taking a deep dive into the heart of Korean culture, from K-entertainment to AI news and the latest in K-sports today. And with that, let's dive in. Joining us on today's show is Walter Lee on a Tuesday for a change. Hello, Walter.
Hello, Soa, and hello to our K-Culture Dive viewers. I'm Walter Lee here on a Tuesday, filling in for the lovely Bella Kim, who's taking a nice rest. And I will be co-hosting alongside Soa with some exciting entertainment news as well.
All right, let's start off with that entertaining news, Walter. We're going to start off with some news on a Korean film at the Cannes Festival.
Indeed we are. So the 79th Cannes Film Festival officially opens on Tuesday the 12th. Around like this afternoon, local time in the French south coast city of Cannes.
Right,
Now,
and once again, Walter, we are seeing K-films getting attention at the global festival after being invited to both the competition and the non-competition sectors of the festival. So what a great achievement just being recognized in this way.
Indeed, so in particular, director Na Hong-jin's new film, Hope, has entered the main competition section, marking the first Korean film in 4 years to do so and raising expectations for a possible Palme d'Or win. Now, director Hong's Hope will have its world premiere on the 17th of May at the Grand Théâtre Luminaire. Lumière. The mystery thriller tells the story of strange events that unfold after an unidentified being appears at Hupol Port near the Korean demilitarized zone. The film features and stars Hwang Jung-min and also Cho In-sung. But interestingly, director Park Chan-wook is serving as this year's competition jury president and is also being seen as a sign of Korea's cinema elevated global status. It is the first time a Korean has been appointed jury president for the Cannes Film Festival competition section.
Right, like our film expert, Professor So Jae-young mentioned before, it was about time that he gets to be in that role.
Yes.
But also fingers crossed to director Hong. And next up, Walter, it's director Na, that is. But let's go further to Cortes now, Walter.
Yes, indeed. So according to Hanto Chart, on Monday, Cortes have achieved massive global growth with their second mini album, Green Green, surpassing 2.31 million sales in just its first week. The figure represents more than a five-fold jump from the first week sales of their debut mini album called Color Outside the Lines, which recorded roughly 430,000 copies following its release in September of last year.
And they seem to be in good company selling so many records, right?
In very good company. So actually, the accomplishment stands as the second largest first week sales total among K-pop albums released this year, behind Arirang by BTS, which posted 4.17 million first week sales. Meanwhile, the album's main track, Red Red, climbed to number 93 on Spotify's Daily Top Songs global chart. The group's monthly Spotify listeners has also surged by over 40% during the past month, reaching around 10.3 million listeners as of Sunday.
And we're going to wrap up with another boy group that is taking the international scene by storm.
They are indeed so. So boy group tours, or 24/7 with us, have reached a new milestone in its career, earning their first million-selling album with the fifth mini album, No Tragedy, while also going straight to #1 on Japan's Oricon Weekly Album Ranking. Now, according to domestic sales tracker Hunter Chart, the album surpassed 1 million copies sold within only 4 days of its release last month, and according to Oricon on Tuesday, the album sold approximately 220,000 copies and topped the latest weekly album ranking. Now, No Tragedy has been recognized for broadening the musical identity of Tour's signature boyhood pop style. Now, Tours are also seeing major success on the music shows as well. For instance, here in Korea on Music Bank, they banged a trophy out on May 8th and also in Kigayo on May 10th. Now, the group are staying busy and will kick off the 2026 Tour 24/7 for You in June in Seoul. Now, the group will also appear at the Summer Sonic 2026 in August, one of Japan's premier music festivals, as part of the worldwide tour featuring 15 performances across 8 cities.
All right, thank you very much, Walter, for those updates.
Will do. No, I'll stick around.
Please do so. And now, time to move on to more culture news with Arirang, our AI anchor. Arirang.
Thanks, Sua. Here's your AI guide to the latest cultural headlines from Korea. Let's begin with our top story. The Culture Ministry is launching a nationwide campaign to get people reading again. Through October, 200 local bookstores across the country will host programs aimed at helping citizens build reading habits and discover their favorite neighborhood bookstores. A wide range of activities is also planned for children and secondary school students, including clue-solving missions and 5-minute book review sessions. The ministry says the initiative goes beyond traditional book clubs and lectures, encouraging readers to take part in more interactive experiences. Details on participating bookstores and programs are available on the official websites, readin.or.kr and bookshop.or.kr. A memorial rite and commemorative events will be held this Friday at King Sejong the Great's Royal Tomb in Yeoju, Gyeonggi-do Province, marking the 629th anniversary of his birth. Organized by the Korea Heritage Service, the event honors King Sejong's achievements, including the creation of the Korean alphabet Hangul, and his contributions across politics, economics, society, and culture. The ceremony will feature traditional incense offerings, a performance of the royal court music Yeominnak, believed to have been composed by King Sejong, and the royal court dance Bongnaeui, performed to pray for national peace and prosperity. King Sejong's royal tomb, Yeongneun, and the nearby tomb of King Hyojong will be open to the public free of charge on Friday. The Seoul city government will launch its Hanok Night Out event next week in Bukchon and Seocheon, neighborhoods known for their clusters of traditional Korean houses and traditional alleys. Now in its third year, the event will feature 16 public Hanok sites, including the Bukchon Cultural Center. From May 22nd to 31st, the traditional homes will open at night for exhibitions, music performances, and hands-on programs, while also offering guided tours highlighting the area's history and culture. Some programs require a reservation, with more information available on the Seoul Hanok Portal website and the Bukchon Cultural Center's Instagram page. That's all from me. Turning now to a quick look at more K-culture stories making headlines today.
Here on K-Culture Dive, we've been covering the latest K-horror hits on the big and small screens. And that includes the global buzz surrounding Netflix's Korean hit series If Wishes Could Kill, or Kirigo in Korean, which hasn't slowed down since its release. And one of the standout factors behind its success is the cast, largely made up of rising stars. Our culture correspondent Park Gun-woo spoke with one of the lead actors.
A wish granted, but at the cost of your life. That's the chilling premise behind Netflix's latest Korean horror hit Kirigo, or If Wishes Could Kill, which climbed to the top of the platform's global non-English TV chart the second week after release.
우선 기리고가 지금 넷플릭스 1위를 차지했는데요. 먼저 너무 축하드리고요. 1위를 딱 처음 하셨을 때 어떤 기분이셨나요?
When I woke up, my phone was flooded with congratulatory messages. I felt incredibly happy and thought to myself, wow, so this is what this kind of feeling is like.
One of the standout factors behind the series' success is its cast, which is largely made up of rising actors, including Hyun Woo-seok. Hard work behind the scenes became one of the driving forces behind the show's popularity.
Since this was such a major production, I initially felt huge pressure, but was able to overcome it thanks to the support of my fellow actors and the staff. I even arrived early on set to study coding with my teacher, which helped make my performance more convincing.
One critic said the appeal of new faces may have resonated even more strongly because the series was released on a streaming platform.
The new faces helped maintain viewer immersion, while the strong storytelling kept audiences engaged. Unlike theaters, streaming series rely less on star power and more on the quality of the story and acting.
Insiders also say the uniquely Korean horror elements have resonated with global audiences.
Factors like shamans gave the series its own distinct identity, and I think that became one of its biggest strengths. Of course, horror is about fear and jump scares, but beyond that, viewers also connected with the characters' relationships and chemistry.
The series combines traditional Korean shamanism with modern digital devices to create fear in a very contemporary way. The idea of making wishes through a smartphone app in exchange for death feels both like a survival game and a modern take on exorcism, which appears to be resonating strongly with overseas viewers.
The critic added that the future of K-horror lies not only in jump scares, but in compelling storytelling and detailed world building. And judging by the global response so far, audiences around the world may already wish for what Korean horror has to offer next, even a season 2 for Kirigo. Park Gun-woo, Arirang News.
A bustling spring night in Seoul. It's the season of Yajang, where outdoor tables fill the streets. Under the cool night air, one dish shows up on every table like an unspoken ritual. The spicy, tangy Golbaengi muchim, or whelk salad. An ice-cold beer meets chewy whelks, an unbeatable pairing. But there's a curious rumor trailing this old favorite.
I heard only Koreans eat this.
So, is it true? To get to the bottom of it, we crossed the seas to the waters off the coast of the United Kingdom. We asked a local fisherman who's been catching whelks his whole life.
Well, Brits don't really eat them. We mostly use them as bait. But Koreans buy them up, so we're not complaining. Honestly, though, why are they so popular in Korea?
To him, it's puzzling, but in Korea, it's a full-on craving. Koreans devour 90% of the world's supply, snapping up what's largely overlooked elsewhere. So why the obsession? The story goes back to the 1970s in the printing house alleys of Ulchiro in Seoul. Back then, Ulchiro was the heart of paper in Korea, churning out nearly all the nation's supply. Amid the sting of ink and the relentless clatter of presses, workers labored day and night. And for them, whelks were the cheapest yet most satisfying bar snack. In an era when fresh seafood was a luxury, these canned whelks were the perfect ingredient. Tossed with heaps of scallions and garlic, the sweet and spicy kick washed away the fatigue of a long day. The presses have since fallen quiet, but the flavor lives on, evolving into a bolder, more refined staple that still resonates today. And it's easy to make, another reason it remains a beloved go-to bar snack. Prep the fresh veggies, then bring in the star, whelks. Mix them with a fiery sweet and sour sauce and bouncy noodles, and you've got a humble classic that once soothed Korea's daily grind. Tonight, why not crack open a cold one and dig into some whelks?
It's time now for our regular K-Sports updates. And for that, we welcome back our sportscaster, Jason Lee, into the studio. Hello, Jason.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Well, we just saw some food that goes well with watching some sports games, I would have to say.
Absolutely.
But Jason, let's talk about what you have for us today. In fact, give us a taste of what you're going to cover today.
Well, as an appetizer, we can talk about the KBO because we're now a quarter of the way through the KBO season. So I'll give a few thoughts on how the season is going, along with their continued attendance records, by the way. Song Seung-moon is back up in the majors, and Kim Ha-sung shouldn't be far behind. Korea's national soccer team has scheduled 2 exhibition games just before the start of the World Cup next month, and I'll let you know who they'll face, as well as Lee Gang-in being in the Champions League final again. But will he get to play this time? I'll answer that question among others.
All right, so let's start with the first issue that you mentioned, the KBO and their first quarter report.
Yeah, it's a quarter of the way through the season, and let me start by saying attendance records continue. Games are packed, and I don't see this slowing down at all. The KBO reached their 3 millionth fan for the season after 166 games last week. That milestone took 175 games last year, and they set a new attendance record of 12.3 million last year, remember. So right now, almost 2 out of 3 games are sold out across the league. You know, they have plans to build a new domed stadium in Jamsil by 2032. That's supposed to seat 30,000 fans. I think they may want to consider changing the plans to have it include at least 40,000 seats, or maybe 50.
Yes, maybe, because especially I feel like the weekend tickets are
it's
really
impossible
difficult
to get.
Yes.
They need to have bigger stadiums.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And let's talk about on-field presence now. Who are the top teams so far of this quarter?
After the first quarter of the season, the KT Wiz are currently in first place, but only by a game and a half on the defending champion, LG Twins. Samsung is only a half game behind them. Thanks to their current 7-game winning streak, they have clearly been the hottest team as of late. And speaking of the Lions, I should mention that Chae Hyung-woo just became the KBO's all-time hits leader. And he did it by going 4 for 4 last Sunday. He actually sneaks past Sona Sup, who has 2,622 hits for his career. Now, Sona is actually still active, but he's actually in the Futures League right now, as Doosan demoted him after a slow start to the season. So that'll be an interesting race to watch both of these guys. One more significant KBO development I should mention is that Moon Dong-ju, one of the league's top young pitchers. He was a Rookie of the Year just 3 years ago in 2023. He is considering season-ending shoulder surgery. Hanwha, they're getting different opinions on what they should do, as he's got significant damage to his labrum in his right pitching shoulder. So what they do, we'll have to wait and see. It's certainly going to be a very big blow to Hanwha, Korean baseball as well. He was supposed to pitch for Korea in the World Baseball Classic, but didn't because of an injury as well. So we've got to really hope that he gets back to full health.
And one more thing regarding the KBO, actually also involving an injury regarding Yoo Young-chan. So you mentioned earlier that Go Woo-seok, the former closer for the LG Twins, might be returning to the KBO because of Yu's injury. So what's the latest?
Yeah, that was definitely a rumor at the time a couple of weeks ago. So what happened was Twins general manager Hyun Woo-seok, he flew over to the U.S. last week to meet personally with Ko Woo-seok and probably plead with him to come back and take over your former role with the team. But Ko has decided to stay in the States for now. And this comes down to timing and unfinished business for Ko. So he left the KBO 2.5 years ago and has yet to make his major league debut. And hey, he really wants to see this through. He struggled in his first 2 outings at AAA this year and was actually sent down to AA Erie by the Detroit Tigers. But at that level, he is dominated with just 1 run allowed on 5 hits and 2 walks in 13+ innings with 22 strikeouts while converting both of his save opportunities. So he actually recently was promoted back to AAA, where he just had his best performance of the year, throwing 3 scoreless innings while allowing just 1 hit and 1 walk. So I kind of wonder if maybe going down to AA has maybe reignited his confidence. And perhaps he'll be able to keep that up at AAA and maybe get a promotion to the major leagues for the first time sometime later this year. Of course, that would be bad news for the LG Twins, though, because I'm sure they would like to sort of kind of see him struggle so that he might come back to Korea. But for Ko Woo-seok's sake, we're certainly hoping for the best for him.
Of course.
Indeed. And speaking about the Major League Baseball, what's the latest there with the Koreans? Now, you mentioned earlier in your wrap-up, or what you're going to say, that Song Sung-moon is actually back. Is he back with the Padres at the moment?
Yeah, so of course, he came up for just a 2-game series in Mexico because they were allowed to expand the roster. So he played a couple of games. He only played as a pinch runner before being sent right back down to AAA after that series. But shortly after, Jay Cronenworth, who is basically a similar player to Song Sung-moon, he's a jack of all trades, and he was placed on the injured list with a concussion. So Song Sung-moon was recalled, and this time he's actually been getting some significant playing time and had a great debut with a pair of hits, 2 runs, 2 RBI, along with a stolen base. We don't know when Jay Cronenworth is going to be back because concussions can be kind of fickle, but for the time being, Song Sung-moon is getting some playing time, and we'll hope that he sticks around.
Right. And Kim Ha-sung, now, is he coming any closer to his season debut as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You might recall that Kim Ha-sung slipped and hurt his finger in the winter in Korea. He's now on a rehab assignment and should probably debut sometime this week or maybe next week at the latest. He's hitting .286 right now, and of course, he's also very valuable for his defense at shortstop as well. As for the other Koreans in the bigs, Lee Jung-hoo recently had a pair of 2-hit games, also had a hit this morning. His average is now at .268. Also a couple of home runs, no stolen bases just yet. And he also had a hit this morning. Of course, his team, the San Francisco Giants, are currently playing against Kim Ha-sung's LA Dodgers right now. And it's good to see that Lee Jung-hoo is back to hitting from the leadoff position with the Giants. So they're showing some renewed confidence in him. Meanwhile, I mentioned that Lee Jung-woo is up against Kim Ha-sung right now in a series, and there's good news for Kim Ha-sung as well because Mookie Betts, the LA Dodgers starting shortstop, he just returned this morning from an injury. So the big question was, would Kim Ha-sung stay with the Dodgers now that the guy that he was replacing for injury is back with the team? And the answer is yes. So it was actually Alex Freeland that got sent down to the minor leagues. Kim Ha-sung is sticking around. He's earned it as well. He's clearly played much better than Alex Freeland. And, you know, I thought Kim Ha-sung outplayed Freeland in the preseason and you know, he was still sent down. So if they were to do that again this time, I would have kind of lost a little bit of faith in the Dodgers, but it's good to see that this time his merit has paid off.
Interesting stuff in the domestic and overseas baseball. baseball world, but now let's shift over to football. In just a month from now, the World Cup kicks off, and South Korea is going to play against the Czech Republic. But before that, there are a couple of friendly matches, right?
That's right. They were just announced this week. One of them just this morning, actually. Trinidad Tobago, as well as El Salvador, will be a couple of exhibition games for Korea on May the 30th and June 3rd, respectively. Those will be played in Utah in the U.S. So Hong Myung-bo is actually going to reveal his roster for the World Cup this Saturday. And then the team will travel to Salt Lake City to open their training camp before taking on Trinidad and Tobago and El Salvador as final tune-up games before their first game against the Czech Republic. That will be on the 11th. I have to say, I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't have a European team among the games that they scheduled. And, you know, I'm not in the negotiating room, so I don't know if they tried or what happened. But it would have been nice, I thought, if they were able to maybe take on a European team before meeting the Czech Republic for their first game to kind of get accustomed to that style of play rather than facing two Central American teams.
Right. I remember how you were saying it could be maybe the Netherlands or some other team.
That would have made sense.
But okay.
And it would have been obviously a lot better build-up for the World Cup for the Koreans because you know, they do still have quite a tough group to be in. But, you know, if you're a professional football player and you're playing for your country, obviously the World Cup is the pinnacle. It's the one you want to win. But when you're playing for club, that's a different story. We're talking about Champions Leagues now, and we're actually talking specifically about one team because it has one of ours, Ingain, in it. And I mean, he just wrapped up Liga 1 or Liga 1, and they just won their title. And Ingain hasn't been too bad. He's had 10 appearances with PSG in the Champions League, probably off the bench. But can you tell us, do you think he might win for a second straight year?
I certainly hope so. And, you know, as you mentioned, he's been a great player, maybe not used as much as he'd like to be used. Of course, he just played part of the PSG team that won it all last year, but he wasn't even on the finals roster for that game and didn't play in last year's semis as well. It was deja vu all over again this time as well as Lee Gang-in watched from the bench as PSG defeated Bayern Munich when fellow Korean Kim Min-jae saw limited time action as a second-half sub in the second game of their series. But you know, the fact that Lee Gang-in and Kim Min-jae both haven't received significant playing time in their most important games as of late, it's kind of fueled renewed rumors of a possible summer transfer for both. If either or both have good showings at the World Cup, that might add some more teams into the rumor mill this offseason as well. So certainly it'd be great if Lee Gang-in were to be able to, you know, be a two-time Champions League winner. But at the same time, we'll see if he does get some playing time. It doesn't appear to be the track that it's on, but at the same time, it might fuel some more rumors for the offseason as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason, for all of those updates. Looking forward to next time.
Sounds good.
And thank you, Walter. As always, we're going to have you here tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching and your interest in everything K-culture. Please tune in again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Korea time. Keep diving.